Just come down a little bit to preference. And Hammer does go for defense, which suits LG pretty well since they probably would have picked offense anyways. So for those wondering what we're going to see out of this Hammer's defense, will it be one support? Will they run something like a Torb? We will find out here in just a moment. As Hex works the lobby, Slasher, any extra thoughts that you might have as we go into this game?
I mean, I'm tempted to think it wouldn't be Torb. That was probably ran more because they were expecting dive comp. You know, versus Spicy Boys that were running it. Luminosity is like to play a little bit more standard. They've been running quad tank pretty much the entire time with Ube flexing off into Pharaoh or Tracer depending on the map or the position. And I kind of expect them to do it again. Maybe they do Mei and 4 tanks and Ana. It didn't really work out the last times. I don't totally recommend it, but it almost feels like they might try to pull that out again.
Well, the thing about Mei, particularly on maps like this, is that it is a very high-risk, high-reward situation that people might not realize offhand, because the problem with Mei is that if you miss your wall or have a wall that has low impact, you create this opportunity for the other team to really rush into you. But if you do get a wall that splits off the other team, it's quite the contrary, where you have a temporary power spike that gives you a much better chance of winning the fight. But when you're playing Mei, it all comes down to that one moment. Also, you're a little bit more vulnerable to crazy dive comps. If the other team decides that they want to throw a Winston Pharah Genji in your face, it's going to be much harder to get a impactful wall that will really affect that to a huge degree.
Well, while we wait for teams to show us defense, I'd be remiss if I didn't bring up why is the first thing that comes to your mind when thinking of Oasis is people getting hit by cars? Where's your head at, man?
I mean, me too.
The reason is that there's cars on that map that can hit people, Hex. It's very straightforward. I'm not applying a whole lot of extra level thinking to that map right now.
But you know, like, it also has like super fun jump pad trampoline time. But like, you're just going grim right away.
Going cars too.
Thank you, Slasher. Thank you.
Jeez.
I mean, also, I just want to see, at least for the Alienware Monthly Melees, who the first player is to get hit by a car.
Yeah, like the first player to fall off on King's Row last defense playing Zenyatta. Anyway, that was Slasher.
Jake is going to be playing hit scan, and they're going to be running super on Winston without Reinhardt. So they have hit scan. They don't have Rein. It's like a fourth variation of defense so far that we've seen from Hammers for point of Numbani.
They get a lot of
one thing about Hammers is that they are versatile.
Comes down too.
Oh, Jake right now in over the top. He has no pressure on him whatsoever. The Diva again be a little bit late on getting on. His Ice Felt gets put to sleep. Jake not going to be feeling the pressure this time around. Nothing on him. Down goes Super Pluke. And this offense will be getting pushed back here as Hammers Esports really liking throwing different looks as Roadhog throws himself off the ledge. Goodbye, cruel world.
Oh, they missed the dart to get the extra stagger. Unfortunate there. It could have bought him another 5 or 6 seconds, though. I mean, it seems like a small thing, but that's another 5 or 6 seconds that they really can't attack. Got the hook on the Icefeld, not the super stagger we've seen.
Indeed, and just to note, people, that is not a mistake. Hammers does have 1 point here because they came from the upper bracket. I've just updated the overlay to say as much, so we'll see how things go out here. Next fight about to be underway. Difference in attack coming out here from the side of LG. They're going through the upper doorway, but they're going to be running right into Super, who is cleaving their entire team. Sets up a Avast able to finish off that damage on the Pluke. And down to Reinhardt. Gonna be very hard to come back in. Oh my goodness, Super gets hooked in and thrown into the dumpster. Now LG has a few options for actually bringing this back. Ube working for a hook to set this up.
There's almost nothing funnier than hooking a sleeping target. I don't know why, it's just how the animation works, but that was one of the funniest things I've seen all night. Super is going to have his ultimate up when he comes back. He's been getting a lot of work done. These nades have been on point. Every time the offense comes in, they are eating bio grenades hard.
Both Roadhogs over the cliff. Train getting in there with the Diva. Gets the key knockoff there, and the defense, for a moment, it was looking a little bit sketchy, but they are able to pull it back. Very back and forth between the two teams there.
Well, defense still holding strong. I gotta say, this Winston has been to great effect. I really love the defensive Winston here for all the reasons that we mentioned earlier, but if they come up Main Street, he just sits over the top of the corner and gets so much cleave damage. Everyone's already softened up, and Rob has been hitting every single one of his grenades so strong. A giant hook comes in on Super, though. He's in trouble. He gets naded out, bubbled to maybe save his life, but this is not where they want to fight.
Well, Super down. This is LG's fight to lose. They have the ult advantage. They have the numbers advantage. Spree with this Graviton could set up his team very well. They are a little bit stymied, though, by the split defense where you have some people on top, some people on the bottom, and they're very split up. Spree going for the Graviton, will connect, pulls in 3 people, does not quite have the fall-through just yet, but Icefelt with the self-destruct will be the follow-up that is needed as LG starting to get a dominant presence on this point.
Super is causing such a problem that they have to solo alt Earth Shatter him. Totally worth, though, as they're able to clean him up off the point. It is only Rob left, and Anna's very good, but not in a 1v4 situation, surprisingly enough. She does go down. They will take this first point, and a really decent play from Luminosity to grab this. You know, first couple pushes a little bit stymied, but they finally found an answer to that. Winston were able to get on the point before he got back into full force.
Super getting picked off there was absolutely terrible, and then his death at the end, nothing less than tragic, where the nano boost just prolonged his agony as 4 people were all around him. But looking at Hammers right now, they are reestablishing Jake with a tactical visor up and at the ready. Going for a flanking tac visor. Won't have too much support to go with it, but this is Jake. He does what he wants. Very aggressive player. Moves right in. Spree got fall immediately, and tac visor might not even be needed here, Hex.
Attack Visor did go in onto the Devo, which is a little bit of an interesting target selection, but as long as everyone dies, then everything ends up being worth it anyway. No, he didn't even use Attack Visor, right, but it was interesting kind of target selection, but they wanted to isolate that Devo, were able to do so. Icefeld does die very late, very forward position. This is kind of something that's been recent in the last few months, actually, where teams will hold right outside of the enemy spawn. They realize this artificial choke is really easy to hold for the defense.
Teams have gone far more aggressive in defending the Numbani, there's no doubt about it. Train right now into the backfield, holding on to self-destruct, just looking for a bit of disruption. Super going to go down quickly, so without shield tank, if they're going to take this fight, they're going to have to make a move fast, or simply save ultimates. Train goes down, saves the self-destruct. Jake looking for the miracle in and around, but that's not going to happen, and they're going to concede a lot of ground here in second, Hex, but to your last point, they should have time to defend.
Yeah, they should be able to get back towards second, but that kill onto Jake, it's going to go to Ube in the kill feed, but it's absolutely Icefeld's kill. He went up there to disrupt the Ana and the 76 together. It was such an annoyance there that he made Jake jump off just so he could go do anything. Got himself extremely out of position, Ube with the punish, but Icefeld continues to just be a menace on both the Ana and the 76.
Spree right now looking for the flanking Graviton. Graviton will be connecting in the back, pulls in 3 as Ube is in there with the pulse bomb. 2 people gonna fall immediately. LG with the strike, but Super fighting right back. Gets a nice Earth Shadow to pick up 2 kills of his own. Hammers Esports striking right back. Very even fight between the two. And Train still very much alive and in this.
With the 2 kills on the Buddy Blaster, they get him out of the mech and he is still ruining Jake's life. He hunted him down with the Buddy Blaster and got a kill. Grabbed another one late, is able to get back into his mech.
Well, speaking of Bunny Blasters, Train is still in this, looking for a little bit of Bunny Blaster action of his own. Going on the flank here with the pistol. Might even get back into his mech. Is he going to get Reinhardt? He does get Reinhardt with the aid of Jake. Gets back into his mech, and Hammers still looking for the delay right now. Holding back the offense as he sits here on the payload. And this could be one that slips away from LG here, as Hammers looking like they might have a shot.
I don't think Icefeld's going to allow them to not get this point. Getting back in the mech was so crucial. He's gotten kill after kill. After getting back in the mech is going to take out Train for good measure there too as well. I mean, the Bunny Blaster stuff is really nice, but just the fact that he's able to stay back in the fight, keep people alive, keep the shields in front of them, so critical there. Icefeld is you absolutely called it before we got to this match. He has found his home on Diva the last week or so, I think.
Not even the last week. I feel like the last day and a half,
probably,
where he had some not so great moments followed by much better moments. But here we go for LG, moving in. Nano boost on the way. Alt advantage to their name. Ube looking for the pulse bomb in the backline. Going in. Both tanks super low here for the side of Hammers as they struggle to hold in. Graviton is in. Doesn't result in any kills. Soundbear going to keep him nice and healthy. And Hammers doing a great job of withstanding this, at least for now. But that might be coming to an end right now. Super Blue getting it slept. Immediately woke up. And the kill feed going fully in favor of LG. They win the fight, and now it's going to be down to one final defense, Hex.
Yeah, Ube continues to run wild. Icefeld hasn't died in what seems like the entire match ever since first point here. He has been alive, and he's been absolutely getting the better of the Diva. Diva for sure. Train has gone down to Icefeld several times. He's going to have his self-destruct, which can be really valuable on this last point. He just launched up to the sky.
You gotta think that's going to be coming out here, but we do have the nano boost coming out here from the defense. Goes on Reinhardt, a super, going super deep. Takes down Super Pluke early on, gets to the back line of LG. And LG going to have to give up dreams of taking on this push, but here's the problem, Hex. They don't exactly have that much time. Oh my goodness. Diva, suicides everywhere. She was even still in her mech, but had no choice.
Well, they don't have that much time, but Numbani is a difficult map to completely finish, mostly because the walk back from second to third takes so long. There's really no good route to go. If you want to try to go through top, which I recommend you send at least one person up there, and they will actually clear out top as they try to come up top, dodge some of these hooks. Last good push incoming, but they've already gotten a lot of progress on this card.
Spree right now is coming in. Graviton up and at the ready. Has to dodge the defensive matrix. Looking for his opportunity. Will connect with the Graviton. Takes down Vol immediately. 5v5 right now. Vol had a Graviton of his own setup. 4v4 now on the point, but this favors the defense as Jake, unfettered right now, moving in with the whole hog. No one is on him. Full HP, throwing Ube away from the payload with that whole hog, and Hammers Esports very close now to getting this hold on last.
I actually don't even mind what they did there. They weren't even necessarily looking to win the fight. They had a couple people out front and kind of baited everyone off the cart. They are able to grab about 15 more meters of progress there, so not going to finish the map, but pretty darn close, and they gave up the chance to like win that last fight just to send 2 people towards the cart. I think it was kind of smart.
It worked out. Now, the problem here for Hammers is that, yes, they did defend right by last. However, Numbani, we've seen teams get last point holds very frequently as of late, as we alluded to a little bit earlier in the cast. So for them, this is not an easy mission whatsoever. They're still going to have to complete Numbani effectively to win this map.
Yeah, I mean, 2 of the maps that they lost in the first series against Luminosity were them not being able to complete on offense and having pretty decent defensive holds and then not being able to put it all together. Numbani is one of those maps that things could go wrong. It does seem like their support defense has been working out more often than not, and it's been a good gamble so far. We are going to be able to see, I think, you know, Luminosity do a similar thing. Mineral has played Torb earlier on first point defense. We saw how hard it was for this team to be able to try to contest Luminosity on the high ground, because I saw it on Torb, and with Mineral, I saw it, sorry, on Soldier, and Mineral on Torb, you know, Hammers will have to have a more concerted effort of pushing them off the high ground, or they're going to run into the same problem as earlier.
Now, just a quick question here. Do you think it's actually worth it for the Torb to drop the turret this far out? Because he might get a small amount of ult charge, but you're also revealing your hand that you are running the Torbjorn, which people don't always expect, which means that, from the Hammer point of view, they might adjust their attack to immediately go in the turret that they otherwise wouldn't even know would be there.
You know, maybe, but Hammers didn't really adjust themselves fast enough earlier, so why not?
Protect my turret!
Well, we've seen Molten Cores more often than not tonight, so it's going to be interesting where he wants to set up this secondary one. Of course, the first one is just to get a little bit of charge up front, very similar to how Symmetras are setting up lately. You just want to get as much free damage out there as possible, but this is exactly how they ran it earlier. Just put the D.Va right in front of it. It's going to be very difficult to take down that turret, really kind of prioritizing keeping that alive, making it a nuisance.
Ube fell down pretty quickly here in the Torb, nowhere close to Molten Core. This gives an edge to Hammers as they move down the point. They definitely have more punching power, even though they're shooting from low ground to high ground. Turret will be falling here. Superpook gives his life for the cause. 4v4 right now on the point, but look at the disruption coming in from Train. He takes out the turret, he knocks people off the high ground, and Hammers is definitely applying a great deal of pressure right now.
Well, Train should be sleeping. They had him darted, and then someone actually just shot him. It's actually one of the downsides of running a turret, is that sleep darts become almost... It's completely ineffective because you're just auto-targeting those people who you want to keep damage off of. These 3 kills should spell the offense getting this point. That sound barrier will have a great effect on sustainability.
That sound barrier is what they use to just fish out the fight. Mineral, his Molten Core is down. He was sleeping, he was knocked back, and he is gone. I am sorry, Torbjorn, but Christmas is over, and so is this first point defense in all likelihood. Hammers getting some serious momentum to start out Numbani.
Spree does get a kill very late, but it is all for naught as they will end up grabbing this point eventually. 5 minutes left on the clock to get towards that last point, just kind of working towards their weighted second now. And yeah, I mean, it worked for them earlier, so I don't mind them trying the Torb there, but it makes sleep darts so less effective. The one person they wanted to sleep was that D.Va who was on top of it. They had her slept, and then she just got targeted down by the turret. So very difficult to keep a target asleep when your robot is a mindless killing machine.
Well, going to this next fight, Hammers doesn't even have to worry about the early defensive hold here. The defense not able to reposition as quick as they would have liked. Do you have the self-destruct going into the backline? Will it pick up anyone? No, it does not. Vol holding onto the Graviton early on here. Attack Visor coming out here from Icefeld. Picks up Ana early on. Big pickoff onto the support, but Vol still being patient. Has his Graviton. Might be throwing out here in a moment. Could pick up 2 supports instead. Just goes to solo Lucio as his team is generally going down all around him.
Hey, they pick up a couple kills. Here
Oh,
comes
no.
a grab pretty late into it. The self-destruct is actually going to completely whiff, goes through the building, ends up missing everything, so they're going to trade out on the cart. The DPS players for Luminosity have been super annoying, but that is going to be the end of it as the hammer down comes down on the cart. Nice thing is to bait out the hammer down right there means that you should be able to get some people back up for it to at least try to contest this second point without having that ultimate.
In the end, it works out for Hammers. That Graviton for a moment was looking a little bit suspect with the support there, but it works out, and they might just coast all the way to the second. I don't know if LG can get back on this point in time, and they do not. Do a Reinhardt charge, but that could be even worse here, Hex. That's a stagger, and Hammers, they smell blood in the water. They're rolling in. They're looking for an extra hook to get even more payload push here for free.
5 minutes to get past the yellow box, essentially 5 minutes to close out the map and win the map consequently. Seems like there was a bit of confusion on LG momentarily. Spree was actually up and out of spawn as a Widowmaker for whatever reason momentarily, and now he is back onto that Zarya, so we don't know what kind of alt charge that cost them, but the fight will begin. Back lines, both Reinhardt's getting charged.
Earthshatter coming in here from Super Pluke. The defense being pretty aggressive early on here, but the offense, despite being down men, actually pulling this back. They get 2 late pickoffs. Rob 420 holding onto Nano Boost, dives a little bit too deep, eats the people's elbow for his trouble. Spree going in, 90% energy. Zarya holding the fort firm here for LG, at least for now.
They still need to back out a little bit though. Super Pluke does come back into the fight pretty late, gets his shield up at the very least to kind of stalemate this out. There are 2 for the offense waiting to rejoin the team, so the offense is going to have to take a breather, step back as we do have both teams kind of solidifying here before the next fight begins.
Well, here comes Spree, sneaky, in over the top, dropping the Graviton, it connects, pulls in 4 people from that Grav, not getting eaten by the Diva. Instead, it's going to be Zarya eating at this 5-person buffet. Everyone dying to this Graviton as trade, not even getting sweet release, gets taken down by Spree for that little extra bit of ult charge.
Graviton into nade, into pulse bomb. You can just tell by the noises how much it hurts. You hear the grab, you hear the splash, and then beep, beep, everyone is dead. The good thing is, I guess if you want to look at a silver lining, is they all died and no one had to burn anything because they're going to have a complete bevy of ultimates up 5 out of 6 for them.
This is the best window here for Hammers. It's a nice Graviton to set things off. Reinhardt down and dirty with the Nano Boost. Does not get anything from it, though, early on. The overall initiation not working out in their favor. They had so many ults to start this off, Hex, and it might be all for naught. Jake, though, trying to pull it back, but right now, still looking in favor of LG.
Icefeld mostly shut down that whole hog until the very end, so Jake ended up getting very little out of his ultimate. In the 4 ults, they ended up burning so much and got absolutely nothing out of it for most of those. That has got to be a good feeling for the defense of Luminosity to be able to bait all of those out and really give up 0 ground. Carton's going backwards, in fact.
Super right now coming back in, holding on to the Earth Shadow. This is nowhere near as good for Hammers, but they're going to have to try and make it work anyways. Super holding back. Nano boosting Reinhardt in his face, still holding on to the hammer, and the hammer is going to drop first here from the defense, and that should let LG buy even more precious time, and I don't know why Super used that Earth Shadow there, Axe. It feels like it was a bit of a waste.
I think he saw the other Ryan Earth Shadow. There's so many times where you have mirror matches of heroes where they start taking on traits of the other person, or where just people start playing in different ways because of the hero playing across from them is playing in different ways. But yeah, I completely agree. That'd be one they would like to have back. The entire field mostly altless right now to go on. Ube, of course, will build up his pulse bomb very quickly, and he's been on the money with them so far in this defense.
Well, Spree right now very well might be going to the top rope in a moment, but no, he's coming off the low ground. Graviton is in, going to put 2 people in that vortex, and those 2 people that are put in are immediately put down as LG, again, off a great initiation from Spree, going to win this fight, and now they've bought themselves so much time here, Hex. For once was almost 5 minutes, is now only a minute and a half, and Hammers starting to run out of chances.
Well, Spree has really picked it up, which they absolutely needed because Super Plock has not had his greatest game. He's been very aggressive. It was, well, the last couple of minutes, the last few pushes, he's kind of reined it in, but he was putting himself very far out there. But Spree has put this team on his back with 3 kills. That Graviton only got 2, but it's 2 of the people you want and can guarantee kills on, and then Ana and Azaria, that's exactly what they did.
There comes Icefeld, self-destruct on the way. That mech going deep into backline, doesn't pick up anything. Icefeld, in fact, almost going down to train. But while that's going on, Vol dives in deep for the Graviton, doesn't get much of anything done here. And again, the tank initiations for Hammers have been falling very, very short the last few fights, and Hex, they only have one more crack at this.
And they're getting cleaned up on the way back, too. Uber needs to be a little bit careful. The last thing you want to do is get hooked right there, but this is their last push to get it towards the end. They're going to need to win 2 fights to get it towards the end, too, is the problem. That's how far back the card has gone. I don't know if they can keep going right up the gut here. I think it's too late to try coming in over the top, but they're just going to have to throw everything they have at it. They will have most of their ults up, though, so it's time.
They need Train to get the Diva ult to the gods. I don't think that was it. It does find Spree, so it keeps some degree of hope alive. 5v5 right now. Hammers fighting for their life here on Numbani. Super Fluke drops the hammer, knocks down one, but doesn't get the immediate fall through there. Still very close as Hammers struggling to stay alive.
Vast with a really nice boop on Lucio to make sure that that hammer did not hit his team. He was coming in after the Earthshatter, but he got knocked off of his line. Did Super Fluke unable to clean it up. That's the first fight they had to win. They're going to have to win another one.
And Spree right now, so close to Graviton, yet so far, it's going to take him precious time to get that Graviton up in the middle of the fight. Still might be able to get it, but there's a potential that he gets taken out by something before he does. Super, meanwhile, holding on to his Earthshatter, looking to be the hero here for Hammers. Remember, if they complete the map, that's if they win. Earthshatter comes in, only gets Diva. Super, taking a nap. Jake we'll have full hug up here in just a moment, but let's take a look at Spree. No, he doesn't get the Graviton up. He gets taken out right before as Hammers still keeping the hope alive. Super, swing the hammer here on the point. Trang, self-destruct in. Not gonna get anything, but will get back into his mech. And it is the dream real here, Hex. They are so very, very close.
And they stall out enough just so Spree can come out here and have a chance for a Graviton. It does not appear so as Jake is guarding the doorway. Anyone who comes out will get hooked. That is going to be Hammers against all odds, taking it to completion in overtime.
I gotta say that Graviton at the very end was the Graviton of sadness. I mentioned it in the lead up to the fight, but 85% is not necessarily enough to get it up for that particular fight, and Spree was at 98% Hex when he was taken out. If he just had 2% more ult charge going into that fight, he might have been able to land a Graviton, and that could have went an entirely different direction.
Well, Ubi did hit all of his pulse bombs, simply wasn't enough, but you could not ask for a closer map to start things out. Hammer's now one game away from taking home the Alienware monthly melee for January.
I mean, Hammers had 4.5 minutes to just get the last point, and they almost threw it away, even with a 5 ult advantage at one point and not being able to get things done, and then at the very end to win 2 consecutive fights to win. Must be a good feeling. For Luminosity, maybe you mentioned earlier, Hex, they do end up going Torb to start off on defense, and this time it did not go nearly as well as the first time they played. So they don't really get anything out of Torb, then they're also behind in support ults. They pretty much give up first and second point for free, and although Luminosity put up a really solid third point defense for almost 5 minutes, it was just too tough, because even though Hammers kind of messed up and missed out on the first time they had 5 ults, they did make it count the second time they built up to 4 to 5 ults.
And for Hammers, what a run it has been, and couldn't agree more. I mean, in the end, when you give a team that much time to beat you, you are very much inviting the chance that they will beat you. It took every last bit of that time for Hammers, but they were able to pull it together. I feel like Hammers was definitely off their game for quite a bit there. They weren't getting the take initiations they were looking for. The defense of LG was actually very, very solid in landing better Gravitons, better Earthshatters. The problem is that from the side of the attack, they really only need to be successful twice, so it doesn't matter that they lost the other handful of times. They were able to get through in the end.
Now we go to King's Row, maybe a little bit of an edge to Luminosity on this map because of Ube's proponency to go Pharah lately, and Hammers maybe not having as much hit scan as they'd want to. It would be Jake to switch over if they end up doing that. And instead of Luminosity, they like running this Zen Ana stuff on offense. So it wouldn't surprise me if that's how they started off again.
Just by deduction, you'd have to assume that of the maps remaining in the pool, this is Luminosity's best map remaining in the pool, because if they lose this, that's it. They're going home. You got to remember, they were down 0-1 to start this series, just lost one map in this best of 5. So Hammers wins this, they will take home the championship, and that will be Luminosity going home. So you got to think, back against the wall, take your favorite map. But they've looked good on this map. A lot of it is because Ube's versatility. I'd actually be surprised now if he does not run a Tracer into a Pharah at some point here.
Definitely would not be surprised, although it is worth knowing that we did see Icefeld on the Tracer earlier in the day, as brief as it were. Icefeld did do quite a bit of work, so I'll go back to what JCap was talking about earlier and just mention that even though Ube can play a variety of things, I'm not really sold on the idea that it's better to have him on the Tracer over Icefeld. Obviously, you run into issues where maybe Ube can't play a good D.Va, and they'd rather have Icefeld on it, so you have a weaker Tracer for a stronger D.Va, but I do really like Icefeld on Tracer.
I like Icefeld on Tracer too, but I mean, Ube can make an argument that he's been playing a really good Tracer. You just see what he just did on Numbani. I mean, he was crushing it on the Tracer. His pulse bombs, which you and I have always said are kind of something that a lot of pros could improve on, but they're pretty much on point all over the place. Didn't miss a whole lot of them, so. But I do think he'll probably just be on the Pharah, so it won't really matter anyway.
Well, Icefeld is also their soldier, so they are going to have to try to figure things out, and it seems like he's going to start off this map as well.
Alright, so the attack coming in here from LG, 3 tanks with a 76 in the backline. Going to be looking to win the shield war to start things out, and LG a little bit tentative here, going to let their soldier and Roadhog get to work.
Yeah, just kind of rotating around here, not trying anything cute, not going up top, but they do have to be worried about the flanking D.Va. She comes in the backside while the Reinhardt goes up front. They kind of get caught between two things over here. D.Va gets unmexed in the back line, though. And she
getting hit
kills
with that hook
Mineral.
1.0 in a moment, has to back out. Hedan gets on the D.Va. Defense, though, retaining momentum as, oh my goodness, super lucky to be alive there. Went very deep, but you know what? Rob 420 has his back, keeps him up and alive, and Hammers will withstand this very first push.
Dan and Mineral just de-suited the D.Va, and she blasted Mineral in the face. He died to a de-suited D.Va with an Ana next to him. That's rough.
Hey man, never underestimate the Bunny Blaster.
Oh, no.
It does some serious
Do so at your own
damage
peril.
if the D.Va doesn't get immediately melted. But next fight here is underway. Super has an Earth Shatter up and out the way. Super Pluke still quite a ways away. And Hammers right now, they're being smart about this. They're not being crazy aggro, but you know Super has a tendency to go in, and here he goes. He's going to go in. Nano Boost on the way, setting him up, waiting to drop the hammer, but doesn't even need to in this case because 2 people die immediately, and Hammers can just conserve the ultimates.
Yeah, that's 1 ult used, and they get a lot of kills for it, absolutely dominating that fight. It's shades of old school, just super buffed up Reinhardt going in. He's not the speed boost anymore, but still very difficult, and you just give him the speed boost with a Lucio. Who needs the Ana ult to do everything?
And now you take a look at Hammers. Vol going to have Graviton up here for the next fight. A firm array of tank ultimates up and ready for Hammers, and a sound barrier. So offense, if they take this, they're going to have to do it on even terms and even resources. But with that Transcendence out, Vol probably isn't going to get what he wants here, even if he lands a perfect Graviton. Vol will be able to counter this. There's a Graviton. There's a Transcendence to keep everyone alive, as Super still goes in anyways. And Hedan does get bursted down despite the Transcendence.
Well, the Graviton comes in the other side, though, and the shields are down. That means Icefeld is free reign, does not even have to aim. He's got his glasses on, takes everyone down. So some casualties go down there first, but once those shields are out of the mix, that means that Icefeld is going to feast, cleans up that buffet of kills on the point waiting for him, and they will take first point rather easily.
And the thing is, there's a trap there where even though you can burst people down through the Transcendence, you're still unlikely to kill most of them through the Transcendence. They got 1 kill, they didn't get much else, and during that entire time, LG was able to return fire, then they blew ults of their own, and it was a very nice counter engage when it was all said and done.
I feel like a lot of people just aren't used to playing with a Zenyatta on their team because there's so many times where you get grab and there's a Transcendence up, and then you still have people trying to get out of the grab and they end up getting themselves away from healing.
Super Luke right now hanging on to the Earth Shatter, gonna drop it. 2 people falling here early on, and LG investing a lot of ultimates in this fight and getting rewarded. Hammers gonna be trying to bring this back. Vol going in deep at this point. I think he's just trying to get ult charge. because the rest of the fight not going super well here for Hammers. They're going to have to back off and look to re-engage in Hill, but oh, what a stagger. Rob 420 goes in the Ube, and not the way you want to, by Hook Express.
It's not the cleanup there. They had a really nice Earth Shatter, got everyone down. There was a bio grenade on everyone. There's only a couple people alive, unable to do the damage. When your main source of damage to a bio grenaded, Earth Shattered opponent is a Lucio shooting his primary at him, you're probably in trouble.
No doubt about it. Here comes LG back on to the payload once more. Defensive Hammer's going to have to look for something to soon. They do have the nano boost. That nano boost going to go on Super. Who else? He's swinging the hammer, going in. Vol builds a Graviton. Will he drop it here in this fight? 5v5 on the payload. And Hammers, though, they've created a lot of space here, Hex, where maybe they don't need to use this. They're about to have 3 kills cashed in, and Vol will be able to save that Graviton.
Yeah, they're able to clean up their eyes. It was amusing that Avast was just trying to 1v1 the Ana in the back lines, trying to play his own little version of the game back there.
Oh no, not like this. Oh my goodness, the stagger is beautiful. Icefelt just getting those few extra seconds. All he wanted to do, Hex, was die in a deep, dark hole.
I think it's the Hammer's wrinkle. It's the first time I've seen it where they get the hook and then the sleep dart, but then they add in the charge too, which adds in a couple more seconds. I think I saw it on Route 66. I believe it was Hammers who did it. Someone tried to jump off the cliff. They hooked her and then charged her too. So the staggering tactics continue to impress.
It is the breakfast machine of staggering. That is all I am going to say there. But Vol right now holding on to his Graviton, just waiting for the enemy team to turn the corner. Unfortunately, he peeked. They saw him. The guy know it's coming, so he's not going to get quite as easy to Graviton gauge. But, you know, he's just sitting here. He's just like, you know what? You can go in. It's fine. But he's got to throw in the Graviton. Graviton pulls into, and the rest of Hammer's going to get to work.
Ube's got to be careful, not careful enough as Rob takes him down with 2 shots, adds some damage in there too. So Rob able to take down Ube rather easily. The transition to Pharah was expected, but they're just punishing it. Now they're looking for another hugely late stagger. Icefelt all alone over here. He's going to try to dodge the hook. He gets 2.0'd right back up, gets slept, and there's going to be a charge. Oh, poor Icefelt.
Oh no. The stagger is, oh god, why? This is brutality.
It's perfect.
That is the longest charge to stagger a diva.
It's a perfect stagger. Is the breakfast machine a reference to Back to the Future?
No. It's sort. What's it called? There's a better. It's a Rube Goldberg machine.
Yeah.
It was in Pee-wee's Adventure, basically.
Okay, yeah, I knew there was one. There's also might be one in Back to the Future. But yeah, no, I totally know
there
what
could
you're
be.
talking
Now that I think about it. But Hammer Esports right now, so many ults in the bank, so many ults up on the LG side. This is going to be an ult showdown for ever was one. Graviton starting things out. Icefelt the big bang over the top. Diva Explosion doing all sorts of work. 3 kills here from LG, and when all the ults are thrown into the fray, it is going to be LG standing on top. They're going to buy themselves a little bit more time to attack last.
They're probably going to get to this point. I don't know if they're going to be able to get bodies out here to contest, and no point too soon because they're going into overtime. Icefelt exacts his revenge for the worst staggers I've ever seen back-to-back in a game. Takes 2 with his self-destruct over top. What they really need to be looking for, though, is Ube's got Barrage, and they're going to be able to boost him. I'd be stunned if he does not get this Ana boost.
All right, Hammer Esports coming back in, highly aggressive here, self-destruct leading the way, doesn't get too much, but will buy some very crucial space to start things out.
Time to raise my APM.
Hammers still on the payload. Super holding on to the Earth Shatter. Offense coming in here in a moment. Ube can look to be a little bit sneaky here. Has Barrage up and at the ready, but another charge coming in here from LG. This time it's Super Puka going in deep as Ube holding back, punishes Jake, and justice might be about to rain from above.
Yeah, Jake was the one who was trying to go in and get that hook. He had to miss his hook onto Ube, and then he ate a rocket for it, so that is going to allow them to kind of run free reign. But Rob has done a really good job of shutting down Ube with the limited resources they have to shoot down a Pharah. He has been the one to pretty much deny it. However, Jake going for that hook and missing it early really put him out of position. He had to burn an ult to do so and absolutely punish. So they're going to have a decent push to this. However, probably their last push of the game.
Icefelt self-destruct at the ready. Do or die here for LG if they want to finish off King's Row right here, right now. And Icefelt, this is not bad specialty. The specialty is what he does with Diva when it's not exploding. And right there, the self-destruct not getting what he's looking for. He was under pressure. Gets charged right to the backline. Goodbye, Icefelt. Diva bullying in fashion once more as Super gets to work off the Graviton. Swings the hammer, pulls in 2, and Hammer Esports going to be stopping LG before last.
Mineral is up trying to keep it alive, but that is going to be it. That is it for the progress. I'm just really impressed that they didn't have to switch anything and were still able to handle Ube really, really well. Despite getting out of position, go for some hooks. You kind of have to do that when you know a Pharah is lurking around, and those are the best staggers you can have in the game. They might even, if you could get a charge long enough, and your Anna's waiting there with her sleep dart again on cooldown. Will someone test that out for me? But those were brutal. That's 20, 30 seconds that you just cannot be in the fight again.
I just imagine Icefeld sitting there, hands not even on the keyboard, just grimacing as that entire combo goes in there. I mean, maybe there's a scenario where Icefeld was a former Marvel vs. Capcom 3 player going, you know what? I stopped playing this game because I didn't want to be stuck in Zero's lightning loop for approximately 4 hours. But here we are, and we have found our own version of comboing in Overwatch.
The second
at least when it comes to staggering poor defenseless divas.
The second one was way worse because he was off the cliff and the hook brought him back up. The hook 1.0 was in full effect on that one. And then he got slept in just on Reinhardt's Wild Ride. I want to get off Reinhardt's Wild Ride.
It's Reinhardt's Wild Ride, it's Roadhog, there's sleeping drugs involved. It's at least 80% illegal what Hammers was doing to their divas. And reasonably well practiced at that.
Let's not waste time.
Well, Hammer's pretty good win condition for the tournament. Finish King's Row. Win the tournament, win King's Row, beat Luminosity. Pretty simple.
And statistically, teams are much more likely to finish King's Row than to be held compared to a lot of other payload maps in the game. So if you're a fan of Hammers, if you are raising your Hammers in chat, this is a very good time.
I mean, they played that as well as they could have, considering Ube was Pharah and they never ran hit scan, and because LG had such a good opening, their Atkinson combo to start King's Row. I mean, they put up such a good defense during the second point that even though LG eventually got the third, they put themselves in a very good position to take the tournament right now.
Rob continues to impress me on his Ana. What can't he do? He keeps teams alive, he hits fire grenades, he hits clutch sleep darts, and he shuts down Pharahs. Like, his resume as Pharah is just fully loaded. Or as Ana, rather.
Jake right now going in, has a very good hook angle to start this out. Reinhardt gets bopped to the higher level. Don't see that every day. Those knockback physics coming in. Ube lucky to get away with his life off that early hook and does not get away with his life. Lucio finishes Roadhog's plate as a Vast right now going in. He's an antivirus. He's also the support. 5v5 right now between both teams as Jake finds Hedan. And even though this is bloody, you gotta like the look here for Hammers as they start getting momentum on this point.
Looking good as Icefall continues to get a couple of kills here. They are swinging through though. Avast going to keep Rob and Super well alive as Super gets the final clutch kills, gets Icefeld off the point. That is about as good as a first point you can ask for out of your team, and Super's pretty happy because he's about to have an Earth Shatter already up.
This is, I'm not going to say the worst case scenario here for LG, but it's not great. Now you have 5.5 minutes to defend just second, and help them here if they actually get through second quickly, because that would be an enormous amount of time to stall out not even the full length of last.
Well, we've got a flanking diva that is over there. It's, I think, trained.
Oh my god, what an Earthshatter knocks down 4. Super laying on the pain, laying in the hammer. Fitting way for Hammer Esports to be coming right in here, Hex, as they're going to get almost all the way to second off of this fight.
I mean, just to continue the analogy, but they did this also on their defense, too. They send Train behind the team. That's why you saw a flanking Diva there to get behind them. And then they do kind of the hammer and anvil tactic. They put them between there. Diva can always get out if things go awry, but you start knocking them down, then they're just stuck there, eating all those guns to the face. Like, Train has done it time and again, where he is the backstop for Super's hammer.
Spree moving in, Graviton will be going in there, but he's going to be dying for the cause. Sound barrier going to keep everyone alive, even in that sound barrier. No deaths here for Hammers yet. Finally, Vol goes down, and Ube looking for the miracle. He's done this earlier in the day on his tracer, darting back and forth, trying to bring it back in. Pulse Bomb is in, no result. Jake cleaning house right now, looking for this Lucio kill as Hammers moving in. Hex, if they cap this here, they're going to have almost 6 minutes to go from here to that last point in last.
Not looking great for Luminosity. I thought one of their best ways to win this map was to stall them out on second. Second on King's Row can be pretty brutal to push if you can stall them out towards last, but it has been a complete one-sided matchup in favor of Hammers right now. And guess what Super almost has?
Well, he almost has an Earth Shatter. Mineral might be able to mitigate some of the sound barrier, but Super has been almost unstoppable on this map here thus far. Swinging the hammer on the payload, getting far more damage than he ought to be. Takes out Super Fluke, and it's another massive Earth Shatter. Knocks down 3. The hammer play from Hammers. Undeniable, unstoppable, and Hammers might be well on their way to their first Alienware monthly Melee win. Their first time in the tournament, coming out of nowhere, and that's gonna be it. Hammers defeats LG in a thriller. Great to see new teams having this level of impact in the game, Hex.
That's why I love the Alienware monthly Melee. I'm surprised every single month. There's always a team that we were kind of, didn't necessarily come to our top of our minds to invite normally, and then we're looking through teams. We're like, okay, there's some results here, some results there. We'll give them a shot. Who knows if they'll even be on stream? Whatever. We need another team, and then to have them come out and play as well as they did, Hammers has made their mark on the scene.
And I just want to say here to all those watching chat, please give your due respects. Throw up some hammers here for Hammers Esports, because you know what? They deserve it. Slasher, any words on what has been a remarkable finish here for what many people, including most of us, slotted as the 8th seeded team coming into this?
Yeah, huge win for Hammers Esports, otherwise known as Bird Noise, is their first major championship in Overwatch in any tournament. A lot of big individual playmaking coming out of Jake on Roadhog, coming out of Train on Diva, especially making it very difficult for other teams, and Super on Reinhardt. And even though Rob, I think, got picked off a few times, they were running very risky comps with single support defense a lot of the time, and he was able to more often than not get the job done for this team. So for them to be able to sweep Luminosity in the grand finals, to beat them prior in the winners bracket finals, and for them to be able to beat teams like Liquid early on in the group stage. Very convincing tournament for Hammers going in the future. Now, to not be such a huge party pooper or anything, guys, I do think that they are going to have some trouble, a little bit more so than other teams in the new patch, and then they're one of the teams that might be hurt, considering that 4-tank won't be as strong coming the new patch, where I think teams like even Luminosity, I think, will be a little bit, get a bit of a bump going into there, especially teams like FaZe, of course, and Rise, as we mentioned earlier, and that, Hammers and to a lesser extent Spicy will have to adapt going forward into the new patch.
Well, they pick the right time to make their mark then, as this meta ends. If this is the meta that they're the best in, at least now we know of them, and people will be looking out for them. If they can adapt, if they can't. But if they play this 4-tank better than anyone, now is the time to do it. Probably the last tournament on this patch. So I don't know. I think you have good players on good heroes. It's not all going to go bad, but they will probably have an adjustment period. I agree.
So I do need to comment on some of the weirdness on the stream overlay here. One of our co-casters left the call that we were in. As a result, the overlay got messed up, and I seemingly can't find any combination of overlays that brings back both Hex and Slasher at the same time. So right now, Rod is a mystery in the background, or a mystery in the middle square. I believe that's actually Jason Kaplan's camera set down on his desk, but that's just what's going on there. But getting back on topic, it is a phenomenal showing here for Hammers, and for a team that just recently got picked up, there's going to be far more interest in them. I do agree with some of the ideas that they're definitely going to have more trouble than most other teams going into next meta. This meta clearly very good for them, but I'm excited to see what they can do going into the next patch, and that will just be the mystery.
Well, they'll be at the next monthly Melee, that's for sure. That's why I always love these things. I'm always surprised by it. I always have the things I think they're going to happen, and then I'm always stunned by it. And it's really great to just grow the scene. And we always try to do that in the monthly Melee. We always grab a couple of teams that are not necessarily known quantities just to see where they're at. And I think we found a couple new teams to look out for in the coming tournaments of Overwatch.
Yeah, it seems like Spicy and Hammers is definitely stock rising to see how they're going to do, while other teams like Spice and Liquid, who have been around the scene for a very long time, still unable to really get it done in these tournaments that they've had. And this has been a consistent issue, even with the different team changes and roster changes. Hoping to see some results out of those two teams specifically in the future.
All right, guys, it has been one heck of a tournament. I have been highly entertained. It has been great to get back into casting. Any final words or shout outs, guys, before we wrap it up here for the night?
Nope. Thanks, ZP. It's always a blast. Thanks to our friends who are with us and helped us out, Jason Kaplan and Mitch Ubershouts Leslie. Always great to hang out with those guys and cast with those guys. Of course, Slasher, the TMZ of Overwatch, knows everything about everyone. It's just been a blast. Thanks, Alienware. Thanks, everyone. It's so fun. And again, of course, thanks you to everyone in chat, everyone on Twitter, all the viewers, etc., etc. It's just so much fun. I'm so glad I can be a part of these.
I appreciate you guys having me. I really do have a good time casting these events and be able to give my insight, even though I'm not sure about the TMZ.
You know it's
You really are the TMZ Overwatch. Like, I'm just gonna dogpile in there and say that you know every bit of inter-team drama before the teams themselves even know it. If you had just a stealth blog where people didn't realize you were the source, it would just be awesome. Don't do that. Respect their privacy.
Yeah,
but also tell me everything in secret.
Totally.
That said, I will echo the other sentiments that have been going on. Thank you guys so much for joining us here tonight. It has been a blast. Thank you to Uber and Jason Kaplan for joining us. And guys, we will see you next time for another round of the Alienware Monthly Melee.